Vestigial organs, evidence for evolution?
Let's look at vestigial organs and what they are. Probably Charles Darwin himself was among the first to use this idea of useless organs in our body as evidence of evolution. Robert Wiedersheim, back in 1896, came up with 86 vestigial organs in the body. And Wiedersheim's vestigial organs included the parathyroid, and included the pineal, even included the pituitary gland, without which, of course, we'd be in very serious difficulty. But at his time, functions were not known for these organs. And this is one of the problems with vestigial organs. What's the difference between an organ that truly has a function, but we don't know the function, from an organ that, let's say, has no function? So it depends on our ego, whether we're willing to say we just simply don't know the function, or it couldn't have a function if I didn't know it. Let's look at a few specific examples, critically, of vestigial organs. Well, I think the most famous vestigial organ of all in our body is the appendix. That and the tailbone. We'll talk about both of them. What about the appendix? First of all, there really is no evolutionary story to the appendix. Evolutionists say that it's a vestigial cecum. What's a cecum? This part of the large intestine that hangs down below where the small intestine enters is called the cecum. So the first thing we need to know is humans already have a cecum. So the appendix can't be a vestige of a cecum we used to have. Where is the appendix? Well, the appendix is right down here. If we can turn this perhaps a bit, maybe I can even pull this out. We've opened up the cecum, and this opening right here goes into the appendix. Now, is the appendix useless? For many years, people thought it didn't have a function, and so back in the 1900s, people would cut out the appendix even when it was normal. Surgeons would often just grab the appendix when they were in the vicinity. But that's not done today. And one thing that's come up just within the last few years is we now have a pretty good, very plausible function. The appendix appears to be a safe house in which bacteria can be harbored that are useful. You might think bacteria are all harmful or not. We have certain bacteria that are useful for digestion. And what can happen is, in a bout of diarrhea or something, the large intestine can be purged of its useful bacteria. And you need to get the good bacteria, the useful ones, back in the gut again. And it's believed that this little appendix structure sticking off to the side as it does out of the main tract is used to then re-inoculate the intestine with the useful bacteria. What about the other often cited example of a vestigial organ? That would have to be the so-called tailbone, right down in here. It is not functionally a tail, and of course there is no empirical evidence that it ever did serve as a tail in human beings. And so what then is this? Is it just useless? Is it just simply the end? Hardly. It's a very useful piece of bone. In fact, if you rank ordered bone and how important bones were on how many muscles attached to it, coming from how many different directions, I think this little piece of bony real estate might win. It is the focal point for the attachment of all of the muscles that form the floor of what we call the pelvic diaphragm. The pelvic diaphragm is a muscular bowl. It attaches to the brim of the pelvis here, and then converges and attaches to the coccyx. That's a better name for the tailbone, the coccyx, which really means a cuckoo's beak. It looks sort of like a cuckoo's beak. And that muscular floor, right where my hand is there now, that muscular floor holds the organs that reside in this lower part of the abdomen and pelvis. And what organs are they? Well, let's take a look here. We'll pull out the liver, and pull out the stomach, pull out a few organs. We'll pull out the whole small or large intestine. And now we're down to that muscular floor. And sitting on top of this is the bladder, the structure here. In the case of a male, under the bladder We have the prostate gland. It's way down in here. Now you can see that bowl very nicely down there. In a female, the uterus would be here. And the end of the colon, the sigmoid colon, comes down into this region. Now, if we didn't have that muscular floor, because we stand vertically, the first time we would go like that, whoopee, things could sort of just go right down through this area, but that muscular floor holds everything in place. So an exceedingly important bony structure, not a useless, leftover vestigial tail. Well, that's my story on vestigial organs, and I hope you've learned something new here. Thank you.